for joining me for another edition of Morning Pages. Today is August 27th. It's 8:04. Just having some technical difficulties this morning. Right now, you're listening to Beads. I like starting off the show with just a drone of beads. Kind of gets me in a good mood. And I don't have anything plugged in. Let me show you. I have nothing plugged in to the inputs. And it's just playing its internal wavetable synth that is based off of flats. And you can sweep through some of the waves, but you can also change the wave type. This small knob over here, which is usually the feedback knob. You change the pitch. Fun. But we should just get started before we get too carried away. I can also put that volume down while I talk about what today's parameters are. Let's find a nice wave. I don't have anything modulating it, so it might not sound super inspiring. Yeah, let me put this down a little bit. Oh, and I launched my 4 on the floor by pressing the space bar. Okay, so today we've got a whole new set of parameters, and if you are able to follow along, I think that'd be great. Fire up your own DAW and do your own morning pages. Mute me and just work with these parameters. So right now we've got a tempo of 130 beats per minute. We're going to try the scale E Bhairav. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I'm totally unfamiliar with it, so this should be fun. The hardware, we're going to use the Acid machine, the 303 clone made by Behringer called the TD3. We're going to be using Collision for our Ableton Live instrument. The VST, we're going to use the DX7 V, and I have a DX7 Mark II up here, or I guess it's called the DX7 FD, so maybe we can add that in as well for hardware. And then for effect, we're going to use Erosion, and our Oblique Strategy of the day is use an old idea. So there you go. Let's go ahead and get started. And I'll turn down this drone. Okay. All right. So first things first, let's get into the right tempo, the right key, and the right scale. Oh, that right there is a patch I made last night on the 2600. It's not the real 2600 ARP 2600, but the Behringer ARP 2600. We're going to add that in at some point because this thing is taking a while to learn. I mean, I've only had it for a couple days, but yeah, it's like I need training wheels. So let's go to the Pro one over here. That's just the D minor. We have to get into E, and I don't know how to pronounce that. If anyone knows how to do it, how to pronounce it, please let me know. I'll look it up on Google afterwards. But it's E Bhairav. We'll call it that. E Bhairav. And let's see how it sounds. I'm just going to go up the scale. Ooh, that might be a good bass line. That's a good start right there. Let's get our 4 on the floor going so we can, oh yeah, 130 beats per minute is faster than I usually compose in. Section right here. Quantize at 100. I'm not quite sure why that sounds off. It might be because I'm using the internal TR8S and I'm having some timing issues. So let me program that 4 on the floor right here in a clip. See if that's any better. Let's go. I'll just add the that is, oh, because I'm at the what's going on? This timing is way off. Crop the clip. Huh. Well, let me just paint this in. Yeah, we'll just use this 4 on the floor beat for now, just to get our bearings straight. And I'm going to change this snare. We're just going to use an 808. And apologies, I am going to go into my master, and I'm going to put in a limiter. That's a utility. Where's my limiter? Just so we're not getting any peaky levels. I wouldn't recommend doing this, putting a limiter on your master, but for live streaming, maybe. Okay, so let's launch this TD3. Get a little bit of a acid bass melody going, if there is such a thing as acid melody. You can see that this is not in key. What I'm doing is I'm using this Skinner box time sting to make my to sequence the TD3, and I could generate. I could also change the density of the notes. Oh, that sounded good. I like that groove. But you can see that the scale isn't correct. It's not in the right scale. So what I can do is actually, with this one, you can press convert right here, and it'll turn it into a MIDI clip. And so what I like doing is I just like turning that off and then using the MIDI clip. So we'll only use one MIDI clip today, but we could make it a little more interesting by maybe changing some of the timing, changing the key. What I like doing now, especially with MIDI that's generated randomly like that, and when I'm in a specific scale, is to use Ableton's new scale feature within the clip view. And we can fold it up and see that actually most of our notes are not in the scale that we want. So we'll press scale, and we'll move some of these notes around. And we can also tweak some of the timing as well as we go through. So I'm going to just play this as I move these around, and this will just be an evolving bass melody, if there's such a thing. Oops. lot going on in the low end right now, but that'll change as we keep going. I like that, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just record this in. This will be kind of the backbone of our jam today. I am a sucker for a good acid line, and let's go ahead and record in some of the H9 effect. So right now I'm launching the control panel for this little H9 pedal box by Eventide. I gotta relaunch this, it's not communicating. And we can add some cool effects, some spacey effects, or some pitch effects. Let's put in some crystals, see what that sounds like. What I have to do is, this is track 5, right? So I need to enable that external effect. And just so you can see what I'm doing, this external effect right here needs to be on, because what will happen now is this is at the end of the chain, so anything that's coming through this track 5, which is the TD3, will go through, come out here, go through Ableton, go through any of the effects here. This is actually now sending it out to my output 7 and 8, which is going to the input of the Eventide H9, which is going back into the computer. And actually, the latency isn't too bad, even though it seems like a long way. But let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, we've got some level issues. That's weird. Just going through some of the presets to see if there's anything that I wanted to tweak. Let's see how with that. You hear a little bit of detune action, so it's giving us a bit of an interesting element, I think. Hopefully, we'll see. All right. I'm going to just record this, and we're going to tweak the filter. Sometimes with analog gear, it won't receive the MIDI message. Oh shoots, I didn't get the full 32 bars, but that's okay. We'll do 29 and see how that sounds. Let's see how. Reverb hit here at the end on this very last note. Let's see how this sounds. Maybe at the end of each one of these. Kind of extreme, yeah. Add some delay. I'm just going to put it randomly. Okay, and with this bass line, I think we're just going to keep it as is because we really have a squelchy 303 going. I don't want to, let's just try it though. So right now I'm going to be sweeping the filter of the Pro 1, which is the bass line. I think that's too much squelch, yeah? Just keep the bass line kind of static and let that run kind of underneath. But I want to record that in so I can either free up the instrument for another part or usually it would be to save on some CPU, but with external instruments it doesn't use too much. Okay, here we go. Going to record a couple bars. Yeah, we'll do that. And you can see we're a little bit off the grid. It doesn't sound too bad to me, but let's go ahead and make sure we're tight with this. I'm going to go ahead and just start it right here. And let's solo this out. Sounds with everything, and I'm going to turn this one off. Okay, that's good for now. We could work on drums, but we'll keep that 4 on the floor for right now. It's pretty generic, but I wanted to go ahead and load in that DX7. To my VST track. It's gonna take a bit. Here we go. No, I don't know why Arturia, for some reason, every time I update the V collection, it resets all of the notifications on if you wanted to go through the tutorials. So the reason why you can't hear anything is I need to arm the track. Usually it'll arm automatically, but I think I might have some weird settings going on. That is such a typical DX7, huh? I think that means this ROM 1A11 means the electric piano. Let me see if I can. I've got the DX7 up here. Let's see if we can hear what ROM 1A preset 11 sounds like, how similar it is. I'm going to have to, well, let's take out the 2600, put in the DX7. And since this thing is so high up, I had to MIDI map my the program change onto this MIDI fighter twister. So 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see. No, it's not even the same patch. So maybe we can just quickly sweep through. Oh, maybe like that. Oh wait. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the original DX7. Let me raise the volume for this electric piano sound, middle C. Sounds very Doogie Howser. And this is the VST. Yeah, sounds pretty close, huh? There's a little more character, but I think you can have that same. Pretty similar. Anyways, I'm not going to even use that sound, but I thought that might be a fun little experiment. Let's try some strings. Let's see how this would. Let's listen to what we have so far. This kind of reminds me of Erasier's Who Needs Love Like That? Kind of like a honky-tonk type of piano sound, even though this is called digital nylon. Let's keep going through. I don't know. I think we're gonna go with this digital nylon. Why not? It's kind of makes me smile. All right. Let's just record in the MIDI. Just did it in one take. And we'll put some effects on it and everything, but it's kind of giving it like, I don't know, like an old saloon feel. You know what's funny is it's also playing the original DX7 of the because I have it connected. So that's the original DX7 playing the Pro 1 Bassline. Now with this part, it's so harsh and digital, and I wouldn't say it would necessarily go with any acid house. But this DX7 is doing a number on my CPU, so I'm gonna record this dry, and then we're just gonna completely delete the VST track. Gonna do the one set of the, just gonna go 1 8-bar loop. Let's hear how the loop point sounds. And it sounds fine because it was a completely dry signal. There's no effects or trails after that last hit. So well, I won't delete the whole, but let's see if I deactivate it. You know, I found that if I actually delete the instrument, my computer likes it a lot more. So now, let's use erosion. We need to use the erosion effect. Let's go find that. It's in audio effects. Let's just put in the default erosion and play around with some of the parameters. Oh, it gives it an even more digital sounding vibe. Let's try some of these presets and see what they look like. You know what? I'm going to put in an LFO, and we will automate some of this. let's take a listen again. I'm going to automate the amount. Just to give it a subtle crunch. Don't want anything too extreme. And now, you know what might be fun is sending this VST track, the DX7, into beads. So the way that I would do that is I would just send the audio to an external out, and I'm going to send it over to ES3. You won't be able to hear anything. Okay. Get the modular going, and then it's all coming out of this track 3. So right now it is let's see, can you hear it? Oh no, because we're soloing that out. Just solo both of them out. So we'll have another variation of this, one that is extremely glitched out. You can hear it's still going. So let's go ahead and record that in. Oh, I should have actually let that ring out, because I like that. See if I can get that. Let me see if I can get that. Okay, I got some of it. Okay. So what do we have so far? Okay. This is also our DX7 dry. Okay, I think that's good for now. I'm going to turn off modular because that'll start ringing out. I wanted to bring in this 2600, and the reason why is because I spent some time yesterday figuring out how to program this thing. So, point the camera down there, and if you look up here, I have it connected. Right now it's a DX7, right? So I'm gonna have to put it into the 2600 so we can hear something. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Let's hear what we have and see if this sample and hold patch will work. Okay, I think we can make something work. I think we're in the right key too, which is okay. So I think we're good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just play one note. At about this register. Let that ring out. Oops, I divided that. Yeah, you don't need much more than this, but. And we're gonna just record what we have in. Now the thing is I still have to figure out how to patch in a clock to this thing. I couldn't figure it out. What I thought would work was there's this internal clock input, and I tried to put in this Pamela's new workout. We can try it again, but I thought that this thing over here, well, it's near the power switch if you have one of these. Right over here, it says internal clock, and I thought that this was a, this would put me on my, the clock for Ableton, but it doesn't seem to. Oh, here we go. Here's the external clock in. That's why. Let's see if this. Let's see. I'm going to change the BPM. It doesn't seem to change too much. It doesn't seem to change the rate. There's the internal clock out. Oh, it is. know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna record this in best as I can, and then maybe tweak it by warping it, and yeah, it'll mess up the sound a little bit, but that's okay. Ready, and okay, that's good for now. Yeah, that was really a little off, but you know, I think it'd be okay. This might take a while, but let's just solo out the drums. And actually, maybe I'll just warp from here. Let's just warp from here then. There we go. Yeah, that sounded good. Okay, good. We kind of saved it. So this is the 2600. I think it sounds pretty good. I might have to repurpose this somewhere. I'm a sucker for that sample and hold sound. Did we get everything going on? Oh, we need collision. Okay. So the perfect, it'll be our last one. The great thing is I didn't delete my VST channel, so I don't have to create a new one. Collision. There's a lot of presets, but let's just take a look at what the collision default instrument looks like. Yeah, and I love the new visual. We've got different instruments we can emulate, different materials we can strike. Let me turn this up. We have 2 resonators. Let's go ahead and activate that. I love this. It reminds me of it's kind of like rings. Almost don't need to have rings, but I love it. I love Rings by Mutable. Let's see if there's anything we could. Oh, yuck. let's just record this in, and then I'm going to try another collision patch as well, but kind of like how this sounds. As long as we have that in, I don't necessarily like that pattern, but I wanted to check out some of the other presets and just kind of take a look to see how, now this sounds like rings into clouds, and we have different snapshots. Oh yeah, I like that. Creepy. Yeah, that is creepy. It might not go too well with, because our that DX7 sounds like a little jolly, but that's okay. I want to record something in. I'm gonna quantize that. Let's just record that in. This is kind of a maybe we'll just fade it out right here. And let me add some of this hybrid reverb. Let it ring out right around here. As well as, and we can change our return effects later on. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and bump that up right there. collision takes a lot of CPU too. Man. Gloaming atmosphere, I need to put that in. This is also collision right here. Bells, just call that. So in fact, we can now give them their own. Let's see what we have so far. Okay, I think we're good, but I'm not happy with my drums, so let's do something a little more interesting than just 4 on the floor. Let's delete that. Actually, let me program this on the TR8S. So just give me a second. I'm just going to be working with 1 bar, and then I'm going to copy it across and make a nice little 8-bar polyrhythmic loop. Okay. That'll be the basis of our drums. So let me go ahead and copy this just across 8 bars, and then we're gonna go ahead and just tweak every single one of them. Oh, no, this is what we'll do. Now, copy that to that. So right now I'm just going through each of the variations to just make it a more cohesive. here's what we'll do. Okay, here's our... Just recording automation in here. I'm just kind of morphing some of the drum sounds. Let's see how this sounds. A little more haunting. I like that. All right. So, actually, maybe the most important thing to do, because we're going to be putting this into arrangement, what I like to do is, even though I programmed my drums on the TR-8S, I like to record it in as MIDI, because if I do that, then I have more control over when I want to drop some elements out rather than just rely on the faders or on the buttons down here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to get MIDI from my TR-8S here on track 1, which is my drums, and I'm just going to record that in. There might be some timing issues because for some reason this TR-8S, as much as I've tweaked it, just won't stay in time. Okay, here we go. So I actually have to quantize this because, as you'll see, it's not going to hit right on the 1. But I think everything else is fine. And then what I have to do here is I'm just going to clear all of these variations. So everything that I just programmed on here is now cleared on the drum machine, and now I'm just using this as a sound module. Let's hear it. See, and now the great thing is now I have the freedom to kind of go in and change some of the parameters that I want visually. So maybe I don't want this clap right here, I want it towards the end. My kick, maybe I want this snare to be, I don't want the snare to be hitting right on when my kick is hitting. So let's see how that would sound. Yeah, see, that's a little bit better. And maybe I want more of a snare roll, or not a snare roll, a closed hat roll over here. So maybe I can just draw that in, see what that sounds like. Can't really hear that too much. Or yeah, I mean, we could even have a little snare roll too. Yeah, cool. And then maybe after the fourth. After the fourth bar, give it. Yeah. Another, add some more hi-hats here. I like this little white noise thing. Let's add some more throughout this. So what I'm going to do while this is happening is I'm going to use the TR-8S to program in some motion, because the motion is retained. Some movement. Cool. And I think that's probably it. Let me get rid of this track. Oh. And we got a crash. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Live 11 for some reason does not like it when I move tracks in session, or sometimes, as you saw, doesn't like it when I delete tracks. So yes, I am going to recover. And luckily with Live 11, I guess if there is a silver lining, is that it will retain most, if not all, that I did right up into the crash point. So as we wait for that to reload, let me go ahead and finish up my tour. I guess this is a good way to give to fill the time. So what I'll do is I'm gonna see how far this camera goes. Well, I guess I can't really go over here. I kind of went through what was on this wall of synths the last time I had a crash. But why don't we go through the, we'll start over here with the Blue Marvin, the 2600. This is my latest acquisition. And we used it in today's jam. If and when it comes up, as you can see, live is still loading. We have the Neutron. It doesn't get as much use as I thought it would, but I do like using some of the utilities from here in Eurorack. And I'll give a tour of Eurorack because it looks like we are still loading and restoring this track. But down here, you know, disregard the mess. I have this Virus Classic. It's a fun digital, very 90s, early 2000s sounding, you know, EDM type module, I guess. Although, yeah, I don't use it for that type, but it's a pretty fun machine. We'll put that into another episode. but it's really digital, really upfront and in your face, and I love it. And so I'm trying to keep all of my Eurorack and semi-modulars on this side. This is also where I have my camera and my other monitor. So since I haven't updated my modular grid, I'll go through. I'm trying to put all of my sound modules up here. So far I've got the Lifeforms primary oscillator, which is great. It's an analog VCO that has, let's see, sine, saw, blade, pulse, and what they call fragments and timbre. Plats, which is self-explanatory. Rings, the BIA, which is a great drum percussive module. And then I've got my 3 filters over here. The SEM, I'm a big fan of the SEM, although it doesn't get nearly as much use. I think almost everybody who's into Eurorack has either played with or has had at some point the Wasp filter. I like how dirty it sounds. The dynamic impulse filter, which is made by Lifeforms, by Pittsburgh Modular. The U-burst, which now doesn't get much use because I have beads. We've got the Disting. This is where I have some of my effects. So Disting and my Pico DSP over here. I'll have to bring that into another episode. It's hidden over here, so I sometimes forget about it. And then the Disting, there's just so much menu diving that I don't use it too much because I have to always crack open the manual. And then the rest I will save for another time because we are now back up and running. So let's report a crash, maybe later. So it happened when I deleted this track, but usually when it doesn't like it when I delete things. That is so weird. All right, so this is going to be a little longer episode than normal because 2 crashes in a row. Okay, we'll go through this bottom row. And if you had any questions on the chat, feel free to put that in. As you see, I'm wasting time as I wait for live to restart. Okay, so going from this end, beads. This is my latest Eurorack module. Love it. I started off every episode with the internal wavetable oscillator, and usually I try to modulate it with the Batumi over here. We got a quad VCA. Nothing's patched into it right now, but you know, as they say, you can't have enough VCAs. So I have 4 of them right there. The ornament in crime, this is another case where I'm like, you know, just way too much menu diving. But I have the hemispheres. It's the hemispheres firmware. So you can have 2 different modules going at the same time. And there are a ton of different algorithms that you can use. As you can see, I'm just kind of flipping through some of them. And then if you wanted to change the other one, you know, so you can actually have 2 of them running, which is really convenient. But, you know, again, I always have to figure out, oh, what do the trigger inputs do? What do the CV inputs do on each module? The outputs is a little more self-explanatory, but man, there's just like so much menu diving and, you know. So, anyways, clock setup. Maths. This is my first module, and I'm still learning how to properly use it. I've gone through a lot of tutorials, and still trying to wrap my head around it. The Batumi, which is a great LFO, low frequency oscillator, and it's got 4 of them, and they can all be timed. And I have it all clocked through Pamela's new workout. And yeah, okay. So you can see, you just slide these sliders up and down, and you can change the rate, and then plug out the different waveforms or wave types out to wherever you want to be your extra hands. Yeah, and then Pamela's new workout is great. This clocks everything. I actually have Ableton clocking everything through. And then finally, actually, I wanted to point out that everything is going through the DAW via the ES8, which is great because I get 8 outputs from the DAW into Eurorack and 4 inputs. So I can have 4 different mono instruments or 2 stereo, or any combination of 4. Okay, we're back. I'm not going to even attempt and delete anything. Or even move it. Do I even try it? Let me try and move this drum track over here to this area. And if I got the third crash. What is going on? Huh. Ignore that. Okay. Well, this is going to be a long episode. So to the few viewers that are out there, apologies. I'm going to continue my tour because luckily I haven't exhausted everything on this side yet. Except, you know, I haven't cleaned up. I've got patch cables everywhere, but I'm supposed to keep them all on this side. I have my lapel mic and my guitar all plugged into the H5, which seems to be working out well. I have it all. So I've got the ES8 is one of my sound cards. The H5 is also considered my audio interface. And then my RME Babyface right there is my primary audio interface. And I have them all grouped in. You can see this as an aggregate device. So Babyface Pro, ES8, MC101, and the H5. I've got a bunch of other ones that can act as audio interfaces, but that's why I, well, among a lot of other things, why I like to use a Mac is that it's just easier, at least for me, to hook up multiple audio interfaces and make sure they all kind of play nice together. The one thing that I wish Live had was kind of remembering the audio interfaces, I guess, because if I switch them, or if like I get a crash like this, or if I accidentally unplug one, it will automatically turn off some of the channels, and I've also found that it would also take off some of the custom names that I put on. So anyway, if there's anyone from Ableton listening, Okay, here we go. Another crash, but as you can see, everything was kind of retained. The only thing that I'm bummed about is I like grouping all of my tracks close together, so when I'm putting together an arrangement really quickly, like we do every morning, everything's kind of in one area. But that's okay. Let's just go ahead and get all of this into arrangement now, and then I could sequence the drums a little bit later. Okay. Got all that in there. I don't know, if you're like me, you're kind of holding your breath every time you see that rainbow wheel. So you see, there's just so many different tracks in between my drum track and everything else. It'd be nice to be able to see everything, but I'm not going to risk it this time. So let's go ahead and start off with just sequencing these drums into some pattern. So maybe right here, I'm going to cut that in half, take out my hi-hats. Nothing too crazy and complicated. We'll just have these three sections. This is how we'll start off our jam. I'm going to just recolor these. We can bring that back. So these are our full ones. And after 16 bars, maybe we'll have a little break. Come back in, and then let's just do a simple breakdown, and then maybe we'll end our song like right around here. We'll just have one break, and then actually, since we're working in a completely different section, I'm going to put break, start, break, end. So I could kind of see what's going on. And right here, I'm just going to put a locator and put full drums. And then right here, I'm just going to put hi-hats. And I think we've got a nice little minute and change jam for today. Now, what I got to remember are what all these instruments are. This one is the 2600. Sample and hold. Collision bells. This one is our bassline. This one, what was this one? Hey again. Sorry, my internet cut out at some point during the stream. So I thought I would just play the final jam again, just in case anybody was out there and was curious to hear how the final song came out for the day. So I'm just going to play it. We've already recorded it in, but unbeknownst to me, there was no internet connection. So let's go ahead and play it from the beginning and tell me what you think. Aloha, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you again tomorrow. All right, that's the final jam. Thank you very much. And again, we'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Morning Pages with Wonderfish. Aloha.